Everyone, I cannot be more excited about the guests I have on today. Some of my dearest friends. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, I don't know how far we go back anymore, but we're practically related. So that's how far
Yeah.
back it goes.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here. We'll start there.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
All right. So the first thing I want everyone to know is to know about your business. So tell us a little about Retro A Go Go.
Well, Retro A Go Go was an idea in 2004. And the way that it came about is I was pretty burnt out in the corporate environment, and it became obvious that I was a fish out of water and it just wasn't going to work. And I just had to come up with another idea. Um, I was going through a lot of Doug's artwork, and they happened to be vintage magazine covers from the 1930s, very beautiful. And I was looking through them and I thought, it's such a shame that these are kind of in a shaded drawer. No one's seeing them, but they're so great. Is there a way to repurpose these and like re-show this beautiful artwork to people? I could really get behind that. So that was kind of the idea, and I shrunk down a Film Fun magazine into a little tiny, kind of like a little billboard that people would wear that had a vintage magazine. And Catherine, I think you were one of my first customers.
I'm sure I was.
I laid out all of my necklaces, and I was like, okay, Catherine, check it out. And you purchased some.
I did. I think one of the first ones I bought was the little motorcycle one.
Yeah.
Cycle. Yeah. That's one of our favorites. Yes.
So that was kind of the baby. And then the idea was, hey, we've got a lot of retro stuff. We're into collecting retro and pop culture. And we could just kind of repurpose a lot of our own collection, repop it. And we have stuff that's not even, we don't have to worry about public domain,
Because it was in the public domain.
Because it was in the public domain.
Right.
You don't have to worry about copyright. Yeah.
And then the idea is, hey, we've got a wild assortment of images. We can create a wild assortment of cool things. We weren't exactly sure what they all were going to be, but we knew we needed an umbrella name to capture what it was that we would be doing once we kind of figured it out ourselves. And Doug came up with Retro A Go Go. And I thought it was great because that could be a really good canopy for all the cool, fun stuff that we could do underneath it without boxing ourselves in. So that was kind of the idea. $100.
$100 investment at the kitchen table. She went to she went to a rockabilly show in Indianapolis because my sister said, "Hey, I think this crowd would love this retro stuff." And you put it all out, and you sold out over the course of the weekend. So, and we
I guess we're onto something.
We're onto something.
And that was because when you're sharing something you love, it's a little bit scary because you're like, gee, I think these are really cool and neat. Do you kind of like them? And you share them and you're not sure how people are going to respond. And when they liked your offering, you're like, oh, I have a place for some creative things that we can do. And it was just identifying that space is real. And we can fill it with what we want to fill it with, and this is going to be such a ride. Now, Doug, for the longest time, kept telling me he was going to be no part of it.
I had a corporate creative job at the time.
That's right.
So I was covering the healthcare and all the benefits and all that, and I said, I'm just going to keep doing this. Whatever you want to do, that's good with you, but leave me out of it. And that lasted about, 7 or 8 years, and then the business just... it grew and grew and grew. Yeah. And I was less and less happy where I was at. And then Did
they start sending you to anger management meetings?
Doug doesn't play well with others.
Doug doesn't play well with others. He's an artist.
Yes. But the necklaces are far in the rearview mirror. We evolved into belt buckles and business card cases, and we started licensing.
I got those. I got those too.
Kirsten had connections with Ford, so that was kind of our first foray into licensing, as they gave us their access to their archives, and we put their stuff onto business card holders and belt buckles and all kinds of stuff.
And the idea there was vintage Ford cars are kind of cool. And so vintage, Ford car card on a little cigarette case or whatever. Like we used a Pinto. And it
Mm-hmm.
was really cool. And a lot of people forgot that they like blew up and caught fire. And it was vintage.
And they wanted them.
And it was when I wasn't trying to sell a Pinto, I was just trying to show you kind of a cool concept that didn't work.
Well, Ford used all those for dealership. You know, their dealerships all have promos and stuff like that. So it kind of started there. Then General Motors called us because they saw we were doing stuff for Ford. Same kind of, they offered us their archives, and we were off to the races. And we've licensed with many companies since then.
Yeah.
And our business has evolved greatly since then. We, some years in, we were kind of getting tired of putting images onto stuff. We're getting kind of bored with the idea. At the same time, our factory was going out of business, and strategy was metals were going 40%. Through the roof for importing metal, anything metal.
Oh my goodness!
So we were like, we got to do something different, and that's when.
But it was time. It wasn't like, oh gee, I want to print more stuff on cases. I feel like we did a huge assortment and said, okay, let's get crazy. What's the next iteration that we can bring our creativity to?
And I think it was around that time that I had left my full-time gig. So I was with Retro now as the main designer full-time. And the whole Metalworks thing was over. We're like, what are we going to do? And this idea I had.
Wait. So they hired you knowing that you had anger management issues?
Well, I knew the owner, so she was willing to overlook these issues.
See, nice thing about being the owner, I'm the HR department, manager staff. Yeah. I'm the I do a lot of things.
Yeah, so you just
how Retro Go-Go has a hat, I have a hat. Okay, with a whole.
So we overlooked that. Okay, all right. So go on.
So I had an idea that had been rolling around my head. I even pitched it at my old corporate job. We did giftware, so we were constantly doing seasonal, coming in with ideas. Let's do this, let's do that. And I had from my childhood, and they were always pushing us, like, we got to find cheaper materials, different materials. We always worked in resin. And make a long story short, one of the things I brought in was a vintage Santa Claus vac form wall decoration.
Dun, dun, dun.
There it is.
My family had since the 1960s when they had first got together, and it was something we pulled out every year. And as a kid, I loved this decoration. I just thought it was the coolest thing. And I said, why can't we do that? Why can't we bring back vac form? And the other thing I loved is old Halloween masks, like the old the stuff that we get at the dime store when we were kids. In the 60s, 70s,
holes
and 80s.
For the eyes and a really thin rubber band.
Hole for the tongue, and stick your tongue through the little hole. Right. Rubber band. It was like $1.98, and it would literally have to say, you're He-Man on the front, because it was basically a printed garbage bag. It was
exactly. They totally filled those in.
Like anything, jump ahead 20, 30 years, and all that stuff becomes very nostalgic. And so we worked while the Metalworks thing was fading. I found a plastics company. I kept working with them. It took a good almost 2 years of samples to try and get it right, to be the printing, and it was kind of like a lost art. They just anything back form. And those masks you see behind us on the wall are some of the dozens we've done now over the years.
Tell her about Greg Nicotero.
Well, let me tell this story first. So we kind of went all in on the back form, pretty much used our last dime to get the stuff on the water to us. We got it in. We first introduced it online, and it was kind of a tepid response. It was, okay. And part of it is it was unlike anything we'd ever done before. Nobody'd seen it. It was really different. And about the first week after we introduced it, Kirsten and I were working at a small show in downtown Detroit, and we were there late night, 8, 9 o'clock. And she holds up her phone and she's like, something's going on, because it was order. It's like as far as you could see. And I'm like, what, is this for real? Like, what? And started Googling and we started getting messages that Pee Wee Herman had blogged about our introduction of product.
Oh,
And
wow.
his personal blog site, he put pictures of the Pee Wee Herman costume that was made in the 80s. Then he showed our stuff, and he's like, I love what these guys are doing. This is awesome.
Oh my
And
God.
it changed everything overnight. And we really
Well,
became our identity. It was
Paul
unique.
Rubens. Who knew?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And it
awesome.
was definitely a turning point.
And
Yeah.
I will say this too, that I mean, some people might be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, so they can't see what you have. But if you go over to YouTube, I want people to be able to basically see when you say the mask behind me, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. So you
Yeah.
can't see this, and I'm also going to put your website in the link for everything. So if people want to get a better look at what you're selling, they can definitely go there too. But I do want you to share some of the things, some of the hot products, if you will, or some things you would like to kind of show off for maybe the person who has everything. If you're going to be trying to buy a birthday gift, Halloween gift, Christmas gift for somebody, definitely check out retrogogo.com. And I mean, it is a wonderland of things to buy. To be perfectly honest, like I said, I am hugely addicted and have a lot of things. But for example, oh yes, I have this in the Christmas form.
Good. Yes. So,
And this is the Betty Page line, which you guys have had for a while now.
yes, a long time. Yeah, a long time. And this is the Witch Betty ornament in orange. We actually made this a couple years ago. It sold out so fast. We brought it back this year for one
Oh
more time.
wow.
So and those are going quick too. The black version is almost all sold out, and we've got
The
orange
packaging is
dress.
super.
The packaging
Packaging
is super
super
cool. I
Yeah.
kept the packaging too. I have the Christmas one. I think is she on a candy cane, I want to
Oh
say.
yeah, there's a Christmas
And
one.
yeah, and yeah, I kept the
We did
packaging, and she's on the tree every
a
year.
tiki one where she's a hula girl.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen
Yeah,
that.
we've kind of the company's evolved from more of we were kind of like a fashion accessories, that kind of thing,
Right.
to now we're a gifts and collectibles and home decor company,
I
and
think that's great.
focusing a lot on Halloween and Christmas is a big part of our business. Kirsten's got the Bela
Oh
Lugosi
my God.
masterpiece ornament.
Yes.
And what I like is from my past, I've kind of learned from the giftware company that I worked for, resin, how to work with it, painting.
Oh, look at that. I didn't know it
It's
did
got
that.
a
Very cool.
magnetic base in it.
Yeah.
So literally you can hang it on the tree, and then if you want to display it all year round, you put it on the magnetic monument base. And that's licensed with the Bela Lugosi estate.
And I'm going to mention too that I mean the likenesses of all of these characters are freaking spot on.
Yes.
An amazing job, and that is done by Doug, I'm sure.
Thank you. Well, I can't take all the credit for this. I draw it up, but now we were lucky enough to find an Italian 3D sculptor. He's out of Italy, and he teaches 3D sculpting.
Oh wow.
And I work with him on everything, and he takes my drawings and takes it to the next level. So it's
I
really,
love it.
it's
But they got to
really,
start with something, you know, and
well, yeah.
and I'm just going to give a little shout out to the necklace that I'm wearing right now too, the little glasses bunny, because I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, it's me, I must have this. um, and that's a little bit of is it Sugarland, am I correct in thinking that
Sugarland.
line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sugarland. Actually,
then-
I have something from Sugarland I can show you.
Oh, let's see what you have that I can put in my shopping cart soon.
So I work with
Oh my God, look
Fiona
how cute that
Hewitt
is.
out of the UK.
Uh-huh.
This beautiful artwork. And then I came up with the design, and then I tagged it with each different image has its own copy. And this one is "You Belong in My Song."
Very cute. Very cute. And if
The wall decor, we kind of
yes.
moved into Christmas with the wall decoration. So kind of
Yes.
doing the
Sparkle.
retro.
See the sparkle?
Yes.
So these kind of grew out of holidays, and they've really done fantastic.
Those
work.
are just so freaking adorable too. And if people
Yeah.
want
Send
decor,
pictures like, what is it?
They turned them into cool masks.
great idea for the family photos. You could, but hang them on your wall, your door, your whatever. And what's also very joyous too is because I do follow you guys on Facebook too, is that when people will tag you and they will show like the whole collection they have of your stuff too, which I'm just so proud of you guys when I see that you guys have just hit that note so well.
We've got some customers that are just really terrific. They pick up everything that we make. It's amazing.
One of the things too, it's really fun to see the item or the product in its new habitat. And
oh, yes, that's true.
Pictures come in of like, this is how I displayed it in my Christmas land or whatever. And on our website, it's called How Do You Retro? And so that's where you can see fun, different things that people have done with our products. That's endearing, you know.
Absolutely.
That go and that other people love.
Because they don't, they don't just go away. You get to find out what they did with it.
How they're living, how they're doing. Yes. And
it's another fun thing is set decorators in LA have discovered us. So we've shipped product to an episode of Creep Show. We're in Goosebumps 2. We're in Paranormal Activity. We're
Shut up.
Some stuff like Paranormal Activity. I think it was 2 or something. I was literally watching late night by myself. And this character holds up this picture frame, which we sold at one time. It had all these vintage tattoos, like to the screen. I'm like, am I hallucinating right now? But literally, it was our something we made, and it's in the movie. We just
there was something there's a thing. Shaquille O'Neal is working at a radio.
Hubie Halloween with.
So you have to look for Shaquille. He's working at a radio station for like 1 second. You see it on the wall.
My artwork's behind him in Hubie Halloween with Adam Sandler. So we really we go for
it's obscure.
We go for
go for obscure.
The classics. We like to be in the classic films.
I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and it just offers so much more street cred to what you guys are doing as far as being a real quality product too, because they're not going to use crappy stuff, to be on television. I mean, it just shows well, and they're like, this is really cool. I mean, you're getting fantastic testimonials from people. So with all of that, I just want to emphasize that people really need to check out your website because it's really awesome stuff.
Well,
we just launched our new website.
Yes,
so it's even better than
like our 5th version or so of our maybe more
website.
Over the years. Yeah, every few years you gotta
freshen it.
You gotta keep caught up with everything.
Stay fresh, man. You gotta stay fresh.
Gotta do it fresh and frosty.
Constant.
That's the way you gotta be fresh and frosty.
Before we lose complete control of this train, I do have some questions that I do want to ask you as a follow up to now that we know what you do.
Okay.
I love asking, people that are entrepreneurial, people that have started their own business, people that have, reached, the C-suite or what have you. What did you do when you were younger that really, when you got out of bed, had no responsibility, that you just looked forward to doing, that was a bit of a passion, just something that was just fun and it was all yours?
You want me to take that first? Or
sure. Go for it.
This. What I'm doing.
He's gonna say drawing or something.
When I look back, and I say this, and if you can work as an adult at the things you loved as a child, it's not work. It's the greatest gift. And it's not anything that we talk about a lot as in a society, it's like so much as like, being the lawyer, the doctor, whatever. But if somehow you can tie into the things you were passionate about and over again at Retro, that's what we do. I wasn't a little kid, but like I was aware of Betty Page when I was in art school. And it's like Betty Page stuff or the monster stuff. I loved that when I was a kid. I loved Halloween when I was a kid. But I was always making stuff. I was making home, stop motion animated movies when I was a little kid with my dad's, Super 8 camera. I was making stuff out of cardboard all the time and foam core, and I was painting all the time and drawing all the time and designing. And I think out of my whole life, I think 7 months I worked at a hot dog stand is the only time I didn't do anything creative when I was like 17. Every other, that
taught you.
It taught me how to be creative with hot dog making.
I was gonna say there probably some really good looking hot dogs. I don't know how they tasted, but they probably look fabulous.
Like fun would come out. The hot dog would be vertical with the relish as hair and mustard. I didn't last long at that job.
They didn't appreciate it. They didn't.
They didn't appreciate it. No, nor did the customers. They just wanted a hot dog. Anyways, you can cut this out, right, Kat?
Sure, but I'm not going to.
Okay. All right. Anyways, yeah. So I've always been doing this. Is what I've loved doing. You know, the business side of it. That's not the so much the fun stuff of the the drudgery of any job. You know, isn't the greatest. But that's what keeps me going now.
Yeah, that's the
Is
momentum.
the next fun. I never get tired of, oh my gosh, I got a fresh sculpt I can look at that from these sketches I sent my sculptor, and open them up and, okay, change this, let's move that. I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I can't wait to see first the sample, and then a whole shipment of these things come in, and
Oh my
hopefully
God.
people are as
And
passionate
then
about
people want them, which is crazy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We try to make stuff if we're passionate about it and we love it, because we're putting our hard-earned dollars into it and are sacrificing a lot to make this stuff. Um, we hope we find people that are as passionate about it as we are. And so far, knock on wood,
I will do the same.
that's happened. Yeah. So, want to jump in with your?
Hey, what did little Kirsten do?
Well, I remember it was so exciting when it was summer break, because that meant the whole world was available to do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I was a kid that would jump out of bed, land my feet on the hardwood floor, feel the sting, jet down the carpet stairs, and be ready to find my friends. And today we're going to put on a play. And you're going to be the butler, and we're going to do this. We're going to make tickets. We're going to sell it. It's going to be at 3:00. We're inviting our moms.
Like
And kind of
real
getting-
little rascals.
Yeah, like
To
getting
date myself even more.
getting everybody together to do something fun. And then there was always a possible opportunity that, because we're selling tickets, then we could make money, which for us meant we could go to the store and get candy. So that was like, game on, let's do a show. So just fun stuff. And I remember visiting with my grandparents and taking all their shoes out of their bedroom and setting up an entire shoe store. And then I made them come in and, and repurchase their shoes. And they were like, oh, that one fits so nice. I was like, oh. But anyway, and I didn't really take any money from them, but it was just kind of the play store, that kind of thing.
Right.
Always with juicy ideas, always up to stuff. I really enjoy writing and, imaginative talk and play. So I was very playful. And Doug and I, one of the reasons that we hit it off so early on is that we enjoyed being creative together, and that it's very inspiring to kind of riff off each other or talk things through, or say, I've never seen this before, or wouldn't it be cool if we did this? And so he's my creative ally, that we're able to kind of work together to create these various things. And I go off and do kind of my piece of it, and he does his piece. And then the crossover is the most exciting stuff, because that's the passion and the creation.
Right.
So I might have to do some of the business stuff, but when it comes down to the true joy is being able to create together.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
That's been it since, the beginning.
Yes, a long time. And you guys have a great track record with that. And it's actually like the perfect partnership for people that are thinking about having partners. Is that, one is, I see you, Kirsten, kind of just as that visionary sort of person that you see something, you're like, you know what, we could sell this. And then Doug's a little caught off guard, but what? But you can, whatever the idea is, you're like, I can do this, I can make it, I can make this,
Well, you're like, well, how hard can this be? Well, you can't call them. They're not going to take a call from you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they will.
They will.
Yeah.
I'm a president. They're a president. I mean, come on.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Kirsten will call anybody, talk to anybody. I'm always like, they don't want to hear from us. They don't want to be bothered by us. But she's
maybe that's the gauntlet. You throw that down and she picks it up. Oh, right. You think so?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's fearless in that respect.
I was talking to a friend of mine who has the General Mills license. So I was like, oh, man, we'd love to do General Mills. We're doing wall decor, blah, blah, blah. Hook me up. And one thing led to another, and they weren't really interested in my call. So I was like, you know what? And I asked Doug, I said, can you take Arrow for a walk for like 10 minutes? And I tried to be real calm to not let him know what I was up to. And I had Jen, who's been with us for many, many years, our operations director. I said, just roll the tape. So I had a one-on-one conversation with General Mills and filled them in on how they're missing out. And I showed them our stacks of wall decor, and I showed them our stuff going out, told them about Pee Wee Herman, told them about the neighborhood we were in San Diego Comic-Con, and you guys want to say no to this, then go ahead.
I love it.
Pass. But now you know what you're missing out on.
And all true. It's all true.
And I got a call, and they were like, we love it, we're in. And so it was taking that really, that risky move that needs to be done.
Yes.
Because if you don't make that move, you're not going to make this stuff happen.
Exactly.
So those moves have to happen to evolve and grow the business.
And that's an amazing takeaway for people too that are just feel like they're stuck or think that somebody's not going to call them back, because everything you did, you were just stating facts. It wasn't like you were, making, trying to do a fast sell of some kind. You need to have this product because we think they're really cool. No, here's what has happened and here's why you should be a part of it. And, I think if everybody just kind of analyzes that and, takes the humble hat off for a while and realizes that they actually have had some big accomplishments, they can open more doors than they think.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think having a base love of something, like I love the General Mills cereal monster.
Yes.
So when I was talking about Frankenberry, that is so exciting to think of a huge Frankenberry head or Boo Berry or Count Chocula. Like, I wanted to see it materialize.
Right.
I wanted to see, like the Munsters, when we did the Munsters, we wanted to see Lily and Herman and Grandpa and Eddie, And
they're like, we can't be the only ones, We can't.
So it's so exciting to have the vision and then take it through. But not everything turns out great, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah. We have regrets.
We have many.
And that's business. That is business.
Yeah.
So with all this work that you do, all this production that you do you have time to just do something creative? And I'll actually start with Doug, because do you have the time to just draw things that you just for the hell of it? It's not going to be a product, or is all your time pretty much put into I have to just draw to get stuff out?
Right. I make the time.
Okay, cool.
And how should I answer this? Yes, I really, part of why I left the full-time corporate job was it was consuming all my time. And then what little time I had, I was working on retro. Mm-hmm. And I had this, the years were ticking away, and I knew I had this whole other side to me that, of illustration and painting and art that I was really getting frustrated not having any time to tap into that at all. And it was Kirsten, if there was anything that I was really frustrated with, it was that. And I talked about it a lot. And so once I let go of that, let go of the full-time corporate job, moved to retro. Well, now that time, and I get up, sometimes 5:30 in the morning. I try and get in a couple hours in the morning, almost every morning that I can. And in the evening, I try and do an hour or two. On the weekends, I have more hours that I try and squeeze in. And I'm always trying to work on stuff for myself. But that stuff has, as I posted on Facebook and Instagram, has led to all sorts of commission work and freelance work.
That's cool too.
Right now I'm very booked up with a lot of work I've committed to. So once again, there's like all these paintings sitting there that I really want to get to, but these commissions, and they're great. It's really great opportunities that I can't say no to. But I'll have to fight my way to a point that what I like to do is get these off my plate and then say, okay, I'm not going to take any more freelance.
Pause orders for a while.
I got to do some work for me now. I got to just make some stuff that isn't for anybody, and people end up loving it. It's great, and I end up turning it into prints and selling it.
I was gonna say, everything that I've seen you make, I think somebody has wanted to just say, "Can I buy that?"
Yeah. Most
doodle that I've been working on. Oh, can I buy that? Yeah.
I have been very lucky. Most of my paintings have sold, before I'm even finished. If I'm posting a art while I'm working on, in process. I mean, it's been amazing. It's been very gratifying, and I just want to keep doing it. If retro eventually, there'll be a point where we do say, okay, it's time to move on. I know the thing that I want to do full time, no matter
Yep.
what my age is as long as I can keep painting and
You'll be able to pay the mortgage. So
I will keep doing it because I love doing it.
Yeah,
I just love doing
exactly. I think that is just so awesome. And I will again say, you're just the most talented person.
Thank you.
Kirsten, what do you get to do that's fun?
What I like to do.
Take care of me.
Yeah, that's
I
the
do.
most fun.
I do. Some things are more fun than other things. We will.
We'll leave that out. She'll edit that.
So cooking, love cooking, especially like seasonal cooking, things like
Oh,
that.
wow.
And then I'm
very
writing
lucky.
my second book,
Yeah.
which I haven't told you about.
Oh, yes.
So I have that well underway. It is a big project.
And Kirsten also gets up early in the morning and weekends, and yeah.
But that's what I enjoy doing. I can't wait to get in there and have time, to work on it and have that space. So more time in that area would be a pleasure.
Nice.
And then, of course, more time with our little baby Arrow.
Yeah.
They're big. He's wonderful, and we love him.
Yeah. And for those that can't see, just the most precious little dachshund ever.
Yes. He agrees.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Well, this was amazing, and
That's
just
it.
again appreciate your time.
It was easy.
We could, other people's time is limited. We could talk for hours, and we'll have to make that happen. But we covered everything I was planning on for this conversation anyway.
Wonderful.
But I appreciate your time so much. And I think you've given a lot of people a lot of insight just on how you two work together, how you have basically made a career out of things that you love doing. And therefore it's always fun. I mean, aside from some of the things that occur in business, as long as you have the momentum of things that keep you excited, then it's always going to be just fun and exciting and, profitable and all that sort of stuff. So thank you so much. And again, I will have everything that people need to know about you guys in the notes of this podcast and also on Apple Podcasts. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kath.
Thanks, Kath.